Hey, welcome back to Girl Chat Sports with Mo and Mel.
It's 2023.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year.
It's
Happy
2023.
2023.
Is that what we got on our chest? Say it with your chest
That's what we-
again.
Hey.
Say it with your chest, girl. Say it with your chest. Yes.
It is officially Michael Jordan year, aka Jordan year 2023. It's
Somewhat different with that. Some would say it's LeBron's year because he's holding the 23. Some of our younger fans out there would say it's the LeBron year.
Did you see the KD fan that was holding up the sign that was like, sorry, KD, you're the GOAT, but I'm only 12. Sorry,
Right.
MJ.
Cute. I mean, they're both GOATs in their own right, but we know it's a
But I mean,
we're in a generation.
LeBron had a different number to start with. Let's just start there.
Yeah, he did. But he is 23 now. He's been 23 for a minute, and he is a GOAT. So, like I said, some would say that 23 is LeBron. I can't not say Michael Jordan and then not say LeBron either for these people. They're gonna crucify us. So I don't wanna.
I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying it's a GOAT year. I'm saying it's a Jordan year. That's all I'm saying.
Well, I'm saying it's a GOAT year because I'm thinking of Michael Jordan as a GOAT. LeBron's a GOAT. Okay. I'm saying it's a GOAT year. I think this is our year to be the greatest of all time in anything we could be. F them Jays, forget about all that. You know, we seen The Last Dance. He should have had it in 2023. That would have been a perfect time to drop that documentary. That didn't happen. So
maybe there's a new one coming out. I don't know.
Oh yeah, you think? What else do we need? The Charlotte Hornets years.
Oh man, the Barron minor league baseball team year. I mean, I guess that I don't know.
They touched on that already. They touched on.
Not a whole lot left, I guess.
Right,
not a whole lot left.
But welcome everybody. Welcome.
Yes, welcome. Thank you for tuning in. If you're tuning in late or you're catching a replay, we thank you anyways, even though you didn't come on time for the live show. Lives are always nice. It's a new year, and I think you have your own. You would talk to me about what your thoughts were on when a new year actually starts. Because I figured like, hey, it's January 1st. It's a new year. Things are resetting. Things are starting over. But the way that January has started hasn't seemed to been much of a change.
How can it be a change when the season hasn't changed? We're still in winter. I'm waiting for Punxsutawney Phil to come out and say we don't have a shadow, no more winter or something like. We're still rolling into winter.
You're waiting for the official, but I mean, the year changed though. It's a new year. So
the year changed, but the season hasn't changed. You're still manifested from that season of winter coming over here. Okay. So when's your season change within the new year? And I'm giving myself spring.
Spring. Okay.
And honestly, not for nothing, I think that's a good mantra for people to go off of because I don't know if you're familiar with Equinox Gym, but they were talking about not allowing any new memberships in January. They have ceased any of these gym people that want to come in the first day of the year to start working out and have a plan.
Really? I love that.
But it's when you get their money, but they're like, no, the gym rats are upset because they can't get to the equipment because they've been consistent. They've been going. And here are these newbies that always say, oh, I'm ready to hit the gym. We do this cycle every single year. Well, Equinox said, no, we're not signing up no new people. My gym rats can have their equipment. They can come in, do their thing. They don't have to be bogarted by people with this new ambition of losing weight. And then you don't see them in a couple of weeks. So are gyms heading that way to do that? I mean, I think 24 and all those are still taking people, but
I mean, or you could be like me and still pay for membership, but haven't gone for like 3 months. So technically I can still go this month as my new year.
You're not a new member. This is like exclusively people that are sitting down in the office saying, I want to change my diet. Forget these equipments, forget the tour. Like they're just, not realistic to the goals of losing weight. Should have been on that. Like I said, we're still in the winter months. You should have been doing that in the winter. Winter, we're still hoarding food. Like,
it's still winter.
It's still winter. I'm still hoarding food. I'm still gonna drink.
But I did book my first trip of 2023, so I feel like now it's now I need to get it together. Like now it's time to get moving.
That's good motivation. Yeah.
Oh Lord.
Especially if you know you have something to look forward to. I think people are just saying, yeah, I'm just going to lose this weight, sign up at this gym, and then you don't see them no more. So the gym rats are mad. They have their routines. They like to go on their certain days. They like their certain equipment. They have a little, technique as they go through the gym with their cardio and their muscle work and whatever else. and they can't get to their
like, I don't know if in life I'll ever be a gym rat. Like, yeah, I can go to the gym regularly more. I've gone to the gym before, but I just don't ever see myself.
I turned into one. I remember when I turned into one. It was cycle, it was paleo, it was yoga, then it was body pumping. I was doing this as a whole week thing, like a job.
I mean, I did those. I used to do True Fusion every day, but I mean, I don't see myself like in the gym like 2-3 hours a day, like going going back, like or going in the morning and going back at night. Like
I was doing that because the classes were an hour, so I had an hour of cycle. Then right after that was paleo. Then it was body pump. Like I was going 3 hours in one day. But I looked like. Shoot, I came out looking like one of the trainers. Some people were like, "Oh, do you work here?" Like, oh, okay, that's a nice compliment. Okay, maybe I need to get back into that mindset. I don't know what fell off. Oh, I know what it was. Work fell off. That's what happened. You get into these stressful jobs, and then you're like, "Oh, I can't go. I can't go."
I had a day for a day today with my job. I was like, "I can't. I just want it to be over so I can get on the show and just woo-saw, talk some sports, enjoy some conversation." Because my clients killed me today.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like you get into these jobs and you just, I guess I need to shift my outlet to the gym, but I don't know.
That's just not my outlet.
Classes. I don't need a gym buddy to go to the gym. I was going to the gym by myself because of classes. Like as long as I have a structured environment and there's a class, I will follow through with it.
Well, you're welcome to come to Hot Works because I will be starting again.
True Fusion? Is that a True Fusion?
No, it's like we work out in small saunas, so it's just like 2 to 3 people tops inside of a sauna. So it's hot still, and you have different, like there's a bike one, there's not a treadmill. There's like a couple bikes, a different machine, a rower, and then there's like Pilates, yoga, bar.
But you're in the heat.
Oh yeah, you're in the heat. Come on, but you can actually adjust it to your own thing. So if you are there by yourself and you want to adjust it so it's not as hot, you can. I like it hot.
Yeah, I mean the summers is enough heat for me, and I'm perimenopausal now. Not to put my business out there, I might think, why don't I just have a regular class or go to like Pilates or something, just normal temperatures where I don't have to do this fainting spells or dizzy spells or come out with gallons of water. Like, I mean, it sounds cute, but I'll stick to the traditional. I don't want to kill myself.
Yeah, I hear
you. We're in this space now where athletes are. She's going through it. I don't want to be that person. Like, Mo went to the hot thing, and I don't know. She ain't gonna make it.
Listen. Well, we'll start off with our first hot topic. Of course, we all know of the incident that took place, the terrible, tragic incident that took place on Monday during Monday Night Football with Damar Hamlin. He had hit one of the Bengals players and suffered cardiac arrest on Monday Night Football. I hadn't seen
wide receiver hit him in the chest.
Yes.
He's playing safety. They're playing offense, and it was T. Higgins that hit him in the chest.
Yeah, who is getting death threats now, which is
and that's insane. We'll talk about that.
Yeah. So this was Monday Night Football. I didn't even tune into Monday Night Football originally. Like I was finished binging a show, and I was like, I'm gonna tune in. I see that there's no status update. I'm like, what's going on? It's delayed, but there's been no update as to why it's delayed. So I finally turned it on, and I was like, oh, and you see the whole commotion. And so Damar Hamlin had been resuscitated on the field. And they had CPR, the AED machines, both teams circle around him to kind of protect from, videos or media or whatever.
In real time. It was crazy.
It was insane.
And commercial breaks. It was crazy.
5? Never seen that many commercial breaks in my life.
5 commercial breaks. I mean,
they didn't know what to say. ESPN, all the people that were doing Monday Night Football had no other words to say other than just sit in front of camera, repeating the same thing 5 times in a row. So it was sad in that, we're having to see this live. This is something that in our lifetimes, we have never seen before. Usually it's a traumatic event or someone gets taken off on a cart and you see a thumbs up or they're moving something and, back to the game. It appeared they were trying to get back to the game until the coaches both met up in the field and basically said, like, you know what, players go back to the locker rooms. Like, let's continue this further outside of the stadium. So luckily for these 2 coaches, they did have big hearts. And like, who knows if they hadn't stopped this, would the NFL really have stopped it? That's my question.
My thing is, if you can look at the players, the kids, their kids themselves, to see something like that happen to one of their own, and even the opposing team of Cincinnati seeing something like that happen, and you're out there for 9 minutes administering CPR to somebody that's not showing any vitals, that is very traumatic. That is something, I mean, you could see the despair in their faces. the tears, all of that. And when the coach got
concern,
upset, that was even like, oh, this is serious. And the fact that, you know, you had no choice. You know, you had no choice in the matter, because they originally said on TV that they were going to go to the locker room and regroup, like a halftime type situation. But he was still out there on the field. And I think that's what it was, because the regrouping was supposed to be, okay, momentarily he'll wake up and we'll let everybody know. Well, that didn't happen, because we're 9 minutes into this. We're 5 commercial breaks into this. So it just got so severe. And to your point, the coaches had to say something. And I don't know, the NFL, you know, it's a money business. It's a network that had advertisers banking on this is a big stage game. Let's not diminish that. This was supposed to be the game of the week. Everyone was looking forward to the game. Yes, Cincinnati. This is the AFC conference game matchup with a number 1 team to a number 3 team. Like, this was the game that everybody was looking for. So
it was.
I don't know. I mean, it's business. I get it, but this is now a humanity issue, and there's so many layers to what's going on with this situation that how could you not know how to react? I mean, we could go back to Darryl Stingley. Darius Stingley literally got paralyzed on the field back in 1971. This is in play action. Oakland Raiders, New England Patriots. Tatum hit Stingley. He was paralyzed. Became quadriplegic. This happened on the field. We haven't seen any instances like this. I wasn't even born when that happened.
It happened to a guy I went to college with in football. I mean, it was in college football, but Curtis, he became paraplegic after a hit on the football field, and that was traumatic for a lot of people. Still, the guys that I know on that team, you know, and he ended up passing away, I believe, a year later. But you know, once it happened, you saw that there was a lot of concern. I had never to see Bengals and Bills fans sitting there quiet this long, no one getting antsy, everybody just being patient. You don't see people taking out their phones. They're respecting the matter. It was very nice to see that. They were saying
the prayer too. They said the Our Father prayer. If you see at certain social media videos, people in those stands gathered together for community prayer, and we're literally praying in the stands. That gave me chills too. We didn't hear it because we're watching on broadcast, but on a vantage point, they were literally praying the Our Father. This was serious. Like, this was something, I mean, kind of out of body. Like, you would just couldn't believe it. I mean,
and then you sat there and watched it. You know, we watched it and we're just in shock and stunned. You're hoping you hear some information, and nobody knows anything. So it continues on. Cut to today. Damar has showed signs of improvement. He's still sedated. He's still I guess they went from 100% oxygen level needing to now 50% oxygen. So that was good, but he's got a long way to go. He's still in critical condition. So
yeah, and he's on a ventilator on top of that. So he's still, and they rolled him to his side to help him breathe a little bit better. But I mean, you don't know what the long-term effects of this is going to be. You
really don't. You have no idea. And then, you know, what was great is that, and, you know, immediately people from all over the league, all over sports world, all over America, you know, the country, the world, were tweeting out to him in prayer and hoping for, you know, him making it through okay and doing well. All the NFL teams changed their handles to the blue number 3, for him on all their social media. Like we put here, like Allegiant Stadium had their tribute for him. The Seahawks Lumen Field had put up the Buffalo Bills colors as well. It's just like you really saw the way that people were coming together, you know, in regards to this.
Yeah.
He even had, I think, like he had a GoFundMe had started for a nonprofit for a kids' toy drive. His original goal was $2,500. This was, I think, when he first started it. It was not much, let's just say, before the game. It had rose to, I think, 2 or 3 million after Monday night. And then today it's over $6 million on his GoFundMe. So
yeah, that's pretty impressive. I mean, to speak to humanity and what they can do. But and that's all well and great for the kids. Like $6 million. And
we'll get to that. We'll get to that part too. You know, because
I think now, you know,
I just wanted to go over the support first, and then we'll talk about what's really concerning here.
I mean, the support is there, like the Buffalo Sabres.
Well, and the Buffalo Sabres came out. Yeah. One of the players actually, they all wore the Love for 3 t-shirts yesterday. And, you know, the Sabres owner is the same as the Bills owner.
Right.
But they went in overtime last night, 5-4. Tage Thompson. So he scored his 3rd goal of the game exactly 3 minutes into his 3-on-3. It was his 30th goal and his third hat trick of the season. So it's crazy how the number 3 kind of was apparent throughout his game. So it just seemed very powerful.
3-3-3. Yeah. Very.
Yep. Kind of crazy. Yeah. But
I mean, like I said, this is the butt I'm talking about. Like,
yeah,
the 6 million is great. The solidarity is great. The prayers are always great because we're seeing miracles and blessings happening right now as we speak. However, what is the long-term look and lens of this looks like? Where are those prayers and thoughts and everything else going to go to him in the aftercare of it? What is we don't know what his outcome is. He could come back just being just as stronger than ever and really get back on the field. But this man only has a 4-year contract and he's only fulfilled 2 years of that contract. And
he was on the second string prior to this year. So he got put up because got injured in like week 3.
Neck injury at that. Neck injury, career season-ending injury with the neck situation. Yeah. So he's even on a path of trying.
I wanted to you brought this video attention to you brought it to my attention.
Yeah.
Yes, the Cleveland show. It was just a podcast.
Cleveland Experience pod.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jared Bennett.
Amazing stuff, and these are the things that we're really need to be concerned about more than just the game, the playoff picture, your fantasy bracket. These are those things that should be more concerning for all of us.
Yes.
Let's keep it real. Why we don't talk about the stuff that matters? This young man, you want to know how what this you need to know about him? He's 24 years old, right? He got a contract for $160,000. That's his bonus, and he earns $825,000 this year. You say, G. Bush, why are you talking about this man's money? Because guess what? He's been in the league 2 years. That means he's not vested. That means if he never plays another down in his life, he don't get another check for the NFL.
Right.
Let's be clear about this. You got to play 3 to 4 years before you even sniff a pension. So all this heartwarming and prayers and condolences don't do nothing for that boy's mom that got to go home, look at her son, and he might need extensive care for the rest of his life. And you know what the NFL will tell you? Well, we'll look out for the people like him. No, you won't. No, you won't. Let's talk about the disability policy for the NFL, right?
Ridiculous.
They moved it from $22,000 a month to $4,000 in the last collective bargaining agreement.
$18,000 difference.
The NFL has a private board that reviews all aspects with their doctors and with their neurologists and their specialists. They can deny benefits. Even if Social Security deems you to be permanently disabled, the league can come back and then say, the government is they're experts, but let's take it over so we don't pay anything.
And let's just tell you, to get Social Security disability, that's a whole work in itself.
Well, that's with any job. It's already a beast, and that's an corporate aspect. And I know healthcare, universal healthcare, is a big political topic. I know it's one of those things that we all talk about. But these players here, they are in some serious work where it should be a
and they're putting their lives online, as we can continue to see the injuries that have piled up just this last season alone.
Not to mention the ones in the past with CTE that we're just now discovering. Where's their money? You mean to tell me that they don't even get the aftercare with the CTE conditions and things? I mean, it is a serious conversation. It is a conversation that needs to be had. We've been 3 days on checking the progress of Hamlin, but we haven't had a discussion about his aftercare or what that looks like in the future. Now, the Bills owner did say to the family that he was going to pay for medical expenses, but he didn't say anything after
lifelong? Is that just for right now in the hospital?
And everything else? Because I'm going to tell you something. That whole Darryl Stingley situation, he settled with the Patriots to get the lifetime aftercare and benefits for his children. That's what he got in his settlement. He's passed on since. He has a grandson that plays football. I mean, he had to just create that. And that was in the 70s. And you mean to tell me here we are in 2022 and we're still
and that's nothing changed.
That? And go from 20,000 to 4,000 on a CBA agreement because you agree. I'd rather take the full pension for life and benefits and get a salary at this point. If I put in my body, I'm just saying.
I mean, because this year's salary of $184,000 is going to probably be outwashed by medical bills if it continues on. If
Absolutely. It's going to continue depending on the condition that he gets. You still have to rehab. Okay, so let's just factor that. Even if he 100%, you still got to rehab. home care nurse, whatever the case, those all cost.
And
and he's not even guaranteed his money because he's out for a third season, and he's probably out for the fourth. I mean, he's only got his money for 2 seasons. Yeah. Okay.
And he's not vested. Listen, as a person who has vested in their company, you want like that. And for, and it may seem a little to only need 3 to 4 years to get it, but when you're actually in the NFL playing, these careers don't last long at all.
And if you think $800,000, yes, that sounds I don't make 800. You don't make 800 grand, but you have to understand what that house gets allocated to, homestead, all those things. So that's pretty much gone. So I don't know. It's very unreal. And I think the conversation for all media and going forward at this point, and shout out for them to bring the attention, needs to shift to that. I think the more awareness that this gets, the more it'll garnish more attention. But we can't.
And to help make it for the people in the future they have these injuries, because we know it's not going to stop. Injuries aren't going to stop in the NFL. They're not changing anything.
Every week since preseason, Mel, we were having severe injuries of these players.
Ridiculous.
A lot of them were blaming it on the AstroTurf.
Out for the season.
Yes, we were going through it with fantasy. I mean, we don't care because it's this game, but keeps you abreast of this player out, this player again already. Like, what's going on?
It's been a lot. It's a
dangerous sport. It's been a dangerous sport. It's been always a thing. And we know that there are risks to it, but there needs to be at least a plan in place for those players that do get injured. And the fact that we have a league here that's not being proactive on that, and you're changing numbers and it just doesn't make any sense.
There's a lot of things that we're going to put in today's show that need to keep on being pushed by the media, and we need those media members to be talking about it, because and that's also probably one thing for having an independent podcast like ourselves, is that we can make those topics, we can push those things, because there are national networks maybe aren't speaking about it as much because of the conflict of interest or partnerships they have with
possibly.
Who knows?
Possibly.
Who knows?
But I just think if it's a mention from someone of affluence, it would be,
right.
It would just make waves.
And that's something that these guys could be tweeting about,
Yeah. None of the players have talked about that. That's the funny thing too.
That's what's
None
crazy.
Of them said anything about that.
You send condolences and prayers, but no one's really questioning what's happening.
About addressing the elephant.
And they've seen their brothers go down like this before and not be able to have any kind of medical coverage or not be able to have the long-term pensions. Right? I mean, you've seen your fellow players this happen to, and I would hope that somebody says more of this.
Yeah,
we can only hope. Then there was the Skip Bayless tweet that went on right during the game, or during the breakdown of the game. No doubt the NFL is considering postponing the rest of this game, but how? This late in the season, a game of this magnitude is crucial to the regular season outcome, ... which suddenly seems irrelevant. Now, we've both given our take on this before personally. This tweet had probably like 70 million views by the end of Monday night because it went viral. Everybody was calling for Skip's head. They want him out. They think it's the last straw. He's a terrible person, blah, blah, blah. And then cut to Tuesday's show. Skip shows up alone. Shannon didn't show up. Shannon had some words for him, and they came on the show today together. Shannon attempted to redirect the conversation as to him. He should have deleted the tweet. He didn't think the delete was within good taste, and immediately they got into it again. So you got Skip and Shannon going at it. Skip had made this tweet. We both had agreed that it was in poor timing. Mm-hmm. I think I understood what he was saying, but it wasn't. We understood what he was saying, but the thing is, you had to read that last sentence, and I think it almost like that last sentence was added just to keep it from being completely harsh.
Right.
So terrible timing, poor way of wording things, and just sometimes
we make mistakes. We make mistakes of saying the wrong thing. I get it. We make mistakes saying the wrong thing all the time.
But he's a professional who tweets a lot. You would think
that's who he is. This is who he is. And to ask this man to take down a tweet, it does nothing. The tweet is out there. What's taking it down going to do? You're going to own it, right?
Taking it down doesn't matter.
I don't like when people take down tweets. It's already out there.
Leave it there. Don't delete it now that you're embarrassed or anything.
And I think that's where Shannon kind of should have never mentioned him in his opening statement, saying, well, I think he should have turned. You could have had that conversation with him yesterday. Because now Skip is getting defensive, like, I'm not taking nothing down. And then it goes into a thing.
And then they go into their thing.
And then they go into a thing. And Skip Not for nothing, is the one that put Shannon on. He also put Stephen A on. He also brought a lot of people into the space of
He's
journalism.
been in this field for years, decades.
And this man is who he is. And as he gets older with age, I think the senility does kick in a little bit with him. Possibly. Yeah. I don't want to speculate or dismiss him, but I just feel like that's where it's going. But as co-host or host or whatever you do with this man, you have to make a conscious choice of what you want to do going forward.
Right.
And if the writing is on the wall, if the chemistry is no longer there, then Shannon, you already have a podcast. You already have a little show another show you do. Go for it, brother.
Is any of this
for like it's okay? So I'm not.
Is any of their battling or confrontations? Do you think that that's ratings generated as well too?
Definitely, it's ratings generated.
Because we talk about, like, for us, if me and you had an issue, we're talking about it off air. We're not going to bring it on the show and
I think it does get personal. But there's times that Shannon has personally jabbed people and guests on his show that were athletes as well. He's tried to own them too. I mean, he's done the same thing to a certain degree in the past as well. And when the two of them go at it and he's reminded of past things or humiliated, it's not so fun. But you can't be a hypocrite to the situation of what it is. Skip Bayless is the man of who he is. Should not be of a surprise. A lot of people, I think, were thinking in their mind, well, what happens now? Because we're going off of what the media tells you.
Exactly. We had no idea.
Suspension. So you're immediately going to tender. Okay, so they're going to suspend it now. What's next? Like, that's what you're thinking, but
and what does that mean for the rest of the season, week 18, for playoff seeding? You know,
as well. It was running through my mind. I'm going to own it. It was running through my mind, but it also was running through my mind that the well-being of this person too. But you can't say it did not cross anybody's mind.
Of course,
it's been orated doesn't mean you weren't thinking it, people.
I think everybody was wondering, like, and I'm not going to lie, like, I'm not in the championship of fantasy football, but they're of the two that are going for the championship. It literally is coming down to Monday Night Football's game. Like, the one person has Josh Allen and two other people in the game. And now that game's on, the other person's winning or could win, depending on what if this game comes back around to be played.
Right now with someone that has Josh Allen, I have Devin Singletary. I mean, that was a crucial game where both of us had some stakes.
And again, it's not important in life, but there were questions we were thinking because
but it's all that. I was waiting to see Yahoo's message. I'm looking on Twitter like, what's Yahoo saying now? Because I'm checking my points.
Are we done? Is this it? Are we going forward?
As the conversation is happening, but people are thinking this, and sadly, he thought it. He tweeted it. He thinks a lot, and he tweets a lot of what his thoughts are. I mean, if you go through his whole Twitter feed, it's a lot of random.
And I think a lot of people got caught up on that first few sentences and not really seeing that, these are questions we're all thinking, but it is relevant right now. But we are still thinking these things. And you can't be mad at people for still. I mean, we're all human beings. We're going to keep thinking about stuff anyway.
Yeah. I mean, it was a mistake. And we've all made mistakes. I'm sure everybody has had a Freudian slip and said the wrong thing to the wrong person or tweeted the wrong thing to the wrong. I mean, we've made a mistake on that. And the thing is, you have to learn from it and move forward.
It's more so how many mistakes are you making before you learn? So,
well, the accountability has to be there. And I don't think, and that's where it comes into play of his shadiness to a certain degree. Him being on the segment by himself, explaining, was that forced or was that really your genuine heart and thought? Right. That's where you get into thinking about where his
Did the producer
lies.
Set you up for this? Or was this something you were like, screw Shan, I'm doing it anyway? Who knows?
Something, you know what I mean? And he did apologize following after no way in his tweet, like followed up. But to take it down for what? You said it. I mean, that we're having people come back with archaic tweets to this day for thinking they deleted it and it doesn't. Nope. Let it
Your
sit.
2010 tweet gonna come back to bite you in the butt.
Your 1999 MySpace is gonna come back and bite. Keep that energy flowing. You know what I mean?
Not the top 8. Your top 8.
Your top 8 friends about to come. You know, whatever. It's there. It's not going anywhere. Taking it down does nothing.
But our thoughts and prayers are to him and to his family and to those people in his circle that are around him. You know, there was just some great stories.
Pray for T. Higgins.
Yes,
I need us to talk about T. Higgins, who did a legal, legitimate hit.
Yeah, this is not his fault. This is one of those things you can't control.
Do not curse this man. Pray for shield over him because his mentals have to be going crazy with people sending him messages and calling him names and doing all and saying blaming him. The guilt writ of it alone is already in his head.
And let's not forget, these guys all still have a game this Sunday too.
Yeah, come
on. So now you've got to come and try and prepare from what you've just dealt with throughout this last few days to now being ready to try and play a game on Sunday.
I need them to leave my brother T. Higgins alone. I really do. And I need everybody to pray for him too, because that's got to be rough too.
I couldn't imagine.
The wheels set in motion for this to happen. No one thought this outcome would happen. And the fact that people are sending him death threats and crazy stuff like that is just utterly insane.
Those are just crazy.
Ridiculous.
That's just ridiculous.
But that can play in your headspace. It's just evil, and you just need to let it low.
And that's why I think a good thing for the new year too is just giving less social media, giving less to social media. Like, I get on here and we're posting videos and we're doing content for our podcast, but personally, it's like sometimes I'm just checked out.
Yeah, me too. It's a lot. It's too much. And I don't want to be that. It's just too much.
You're not going to affect my happiness.
It needs to be a little scaled back. I don't think you need to know everything about me.
And some people get so sucked in just on watching other people's video. Like, I've seen people just sit there and scroll through video. And I'm just like, well, for what? Like, what does that add to your life?
And for everybody that has written essays, write a book. Is this your journal? Write it on paper. Create a journal.
Not here.
Your diatribes might be great. We don't need to sell on Amazon. We don't
get a WordPress and start a blog.
Start a blog, start a book, do whatever. But I don't need to hear your diatribe of your day, your Starbucks order mess up, all of that stuff. Put it in the journal. Put it in the journal.
Hashtag journaling 2023. All right, let's get some Jugadores Locos because we got a big one to go over. I mean, this show could basically be 3 topics today because it could just one of those intense things. So the new year didn't start off too well for UFC president Dana White. He was caught on video or videoed in Cabo with his wife celebrating for New Year's Eve.
Oh Lord.
His wife was seen slapping him, in which he slapped her afterwards. And I've seen different things report that he maybe tried to go for another slap after that, but people tried to stop him.
I think he went for it. I think he connected on both.
It's a fuzzy video, but it feels like there might have been more than one for sure.
It felt like it was a follow-up.
Yeah. So he immediately the next day goes on TMZ and is talking about, he's embarrassed. He's concerned for his children and how they're affected, that this is a one-time thing. His wife even mentioned later on that, out of their 30 years of marriage, that this is out of character for him, blah, 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 blah. He's trying to control the narrative immediately afterwards. And of course, because he's Dana White. He's the president of UFC. He also, in 2014, was well known for discussing the Ray Rice footage when he was assaulting his fiance. And that he literally said, White, in quotes, he says, there's a thing you can never bounce back from, and that's putting hands on a woman.
Well, good. Then he shouldn't bounce back from this.
Hello.
End of story.
But
he shouldn't bounce back from this then.
Why aren't people talking about this one? Why is it acceptable? Because she slapped him first, but it's okay for him to slap her.
I have theories. I have theories, and they involve money and paid networks. That's all I'm going to say. But it needs to be talked about. I feel like the UFC fight. Thank you,
exactly.
Kevin Ray. Shout out to Kevin Ray and Miss
Yes. No plays off.
Yes, I feel like he definitely needs that. But I think because there's a UFC fight this week, I feel like we need to bring all of our poster boards and gather everybody around.
Listen, I'm trying to rally in front of the UFC Apex. Like, I think we need women. We need men supporting women. Here's the deal. And I've had to battle with people in our group because apparently men think it's okay that once she slapped you can slap her back. Now, is that how you're teaching your girls or your boys to go?
Yeah,
is that how you're teaching your sons to do?
Is that how you are? Let's start with you. So basically, that is you. You hit women. That's what that tells me.
I can tell you this much. My daddy would have never.
As heavy as they are, heavier than my dainty hands, you hit women. That's what. Let's just start.
And then went in for number 2. And I get it. Alcohol, being very inebriated doesn't make you have the best of decisions. We understand that. And people like Molly Quirm and Stephen Aon, they're friends of Dana's. And they try to paint this picture of this is so unlike him. And although we don't condone this on either men, slapping or men hitting women or women hitting men or vice versa, we're not going to judge a person on their one mistake. I'm sorry. No, this is a grown man. This isn't like some kid that messed up in his early 20s. This isn't some kid that messed up.
This is why it's not getting the story. This is why it's not getting traction.
He's middle-aged man who's it's ridiculous. So
that's why it's not getting traction, because you have enablers out there that are supporting this and giving him a pass. And you have defenders in our group and people I'm very surprised at.
Yes.
Oh, she hit me. I hit. You're a hitter. You're a hitter. I don't want no parts of it.
And then there's those people that, of course, want to talk about, oh, well, way to start promoting your slap boxing league.
Oh, God. That's over. That should be over. I told you I wasn't for that anyway, slapping folks. I don't know what that's all about anyway.
It's too much. But I do want to bring up, there was a video from the Dan Le Batard show where he discusses this point, and I think there's some very valid takes on it. So we'll listen to it.
ESPN is going to cover the news of Dana White and video of him slapping his wife at New Year's festivities, apologizing, saying there's no excuse, saying that he had been drinking. If it had been Roger Goodell or an owner of an NFL team, I imagine it would be covered with a great deal of zeal, even though ESPN is a corporate partner with the NFL.
Can you imagine if Mark Davis did that?
I skipped a step, flimsy though the excuse may be, is this doesn't stay in the news stream unless there's media pressure. There needs to be a media pressure. Absolutely. There needs to be a media outrage about this in order for this to have...
Does it have to come from them, though?
In order for this to have consequences, where they're the worldwide leader in sports, and they do tend to...
And there should be some consequence.
With how this stuff happens, and they're compromised here by a business interest, and that I did skip a step, but that's the reason I skipped a step, because I don't believe there will be consequences for this, because there can't be consequences for it unless the level of outrage stays in a place. He's so powerful, so independent, and can even control, to a degree, the media monster with which he has a partnership, that I don't know what the consequences will be to video of you slapping your wife at a party and slapping her back because of the fight that you've gotten into, no matter the quotes from your wife saying how out of character it was. Usually that video to a person of power is hugely damaging everywhere in sports, But this guy works in a plane with his own outfit and a power that doesn't come with a great deal of governance.
He's the head honcho. He's the one guy.
Who is there to punish him? And
there's
if
no
it happened
owners
with
behind
Goodell
it, like
or an
the
owner,
NFL,
he's not a commissioner, but if it happened with Goodell or an owner, do you imagine that it would be quiet? Because
can you?
Yeah, I don't know. Quiet. I don't know. I listen.
And shout out to and Kevin, you make a good point here. We're not saying that it's okay for a woman to hit a man.
I'm not saying that, but you know the strength of a man knows their strength. You know your strength. You know how strong your slap will be compared to a woman's. Ours may sting, but you could get a black eye. We could get a black eye as a result of your slap. You know your strength. And I'm not saying that women shouldn't be putting their hands on men, because they should not. No one should be putting their hands on nobody. But I'm sorry. If I, in an emotional thing, and slap you, you know the force of your strength. You know what the repercussions and damage could be caused by hitting me as me opposed to hitting you.
I know I haven't hit no man, and I'm not trying to hit nobody because I'm not
trying to hit anybody either. But if I have to defend myself, or you say something egregious and it gets out of control, and I hit you, and you go with a counter slap that sends me across the room, you know your strength.
And luckily, it was a slap and not a punch.
Exactly.
But
and that slap was a cup slap from a heavy-handed man. I'm sorry, not once, but possibly twice.
Dana White's a big man. Here's what I have a thing understanding. What I have a hard time understanding is that this is an isolated incident. But you've seen Dana White. You see how hard he goes. He's a binge drinker, this guy, if you see him. This guy can drink. And I'm just curious, how much did it take for this guy that can drink a lot? Because we've seen him intoxicated and hungover in different videos or episodes or whatever, people's shows.
It's inexcusable. It's inexcusable on both sides. I get it that, you got to keep your hands to yourself. But at the same time, you're a man. You know your strength. You know what you can take and what you can't take. You know,
and what are his exactly? I would be fearful of what my kids are learning at home. But guess what? You're also the president of the UFC.
You're not meant. You men aren't that soft. I'm sorry.
It's just ridiculous.
And we do have to think about it. I mean, it's not like Kevin Ray is not right. You do have to think about if you do hit in this current climate, you definitely do. Because we watch many soap operas where women have slapped men and it's been an okay thing and the men don't fight back. We are in
they just grab the hand and put it down.
Grab the hand and stop it, whatever. We are in a different space right now where if you do hit a man, there is a possibility you could get punched.
We've seen the videos, guys going after women at Disneyland and the family turn, the family trips that turn crazier.
The words gets to under a guy's skin, he's ready to throw a hit. I mean,
you know these guys and their masculinity these days. Their masculinity
is a question. That's all it is. Yeah, you know your strength. You know your strength.
So bottom line, we want to see Dana White with some kind of punishment for this because it's unacceptable.
I just need everybody to talk about this too.
If anybody, we're gonna post this in the group one day, maybe tomorrow. If anybody wants to meet up and get some markers and some signs and hang out at the UFC Apex, it's not. And there should be more. There should be more questions being asked of him than just what he wants to relate to TMZ.
Now, here's my question. Because it happened in Cabo, could charges actually be pressed if she doesn't want to, even if she didn't want to press charges?
I don't know. But
how does that work?
I have no idea.
Because that would be another thing, too. Like, if they just said, hey, we're going to automatically press charges on you because you actually assaulted a woman. I don't care if she hit you. We're pressing charges on you. You don't hit a woman. So, I don't know.
Can I believe so, too? I don't think they say it's the first time, but to be that,
it's the first time either.
To do that in public, first of all, knowing who you are, I don't think it's the first time. Maybe it was the first time he hit her back. Maybe she might have hit him a few times beforehand. He just got done with it. I don't know. But the point is, you got caught.
It was very comfortable. I'll just say that.
It was too easy. It was too easy. Because guess what? If you're fighting that much, walk away. Go back to the room.
Yeah. And I've seen that where couples get drunk and the girl hits the guy and he's like, I'm leaving, and just walks.
I'm out.
I know you're not coming. Now, if they aggressively start attacking you, then that's a different story. But you got
the fact that other people had to come in and mediate this and stop it, because what would have happened if no one stopped it?
We're literally pulling him off of her is what I think.
What if this happened on the way to their room and nobody was there to stop?
Wow.
But what if it's happened before at their house?
I'm sorry, I didn't know anything about the Ray Rice thing, and he made that comment, so I need that same energy kept for him. So I think that needs to happen.
Exactly.
If you're going to say that about this guy,
and that was the sly remark he made on the TMZ. He made with the interview with TMZ was like, "Yeah, I've come on here before talking about how it's not good to be hitting on women, and here I am talking about myself. So yeah, this is embarrassment for me. That's not enough."
Yeah. And you never caught your first time. Yeah, Kevin Ray. Mm-hmm. Kevin Ray, thank you for joining the chat too. I'm appreciating this and the support. Everybody else, make sure you're subscribed to us and you're checking us out on the YouTube channel. But yeah, Girl Chat Sport.
And not to discredit the UFC anymore.
What else?
So Phil Baroni, he's a retired UFC MMA fighter. He was arrested in Mexico. Can you imagine? But a plane ride away from Cabo. He's arrested in Mexico, just north of Puerto Vallarta on Sunday morning, which is New Year's Day. Per a newspaper, he was basically arrested for allegedly killing his girlfriend. His girlfriend's from Mexico. They were there celebrating for the New Year. Apparently, what reports are is that she confronted him at the hotel or wherever they were staying, saying that she cheated on him, that he got mad, told her to shower. She refused. He threw her in the shower where she fell and struck her head twice. He then got her up and put her on the bed. I guess she wanted a few things, he said. So he had left to go get these things, came back, and she wouldn't wake.
Because she hit her head and had a concussion.
You don't know your own power.
You don't know your strength. You know your strength. No, you know your strength. Come on. They know. They know. This woman probably weighed what?
Threw her in a shower, and you don't expect things to be okay.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what is going on in Mexico? Montezuma's revenge? What is going on?
What is going on with MMA in Mexico?
Well, I can tell you a whole bunch of things. That's a whole nother segue of subject. It could be the performance enhancing stuff. It could be just the whole mentals. It's all of that. And I just think they get into
brute force of the sport that you're taking out on a regular basis. And now you have someone at home you're taking it out on. I don't know.
You know your strength. If you're in there going barbaric with men, you know your strength with a woman that's possibly 5'2" to 5'5" and 110 pounds or 120 pounds.
Man, listen.
Stall me out.
Whoo! One last Tugadora for today.
Oh my gosh, another one?
I know. Cameron Batson. So he was on the practice squad for the Falcons, formerly played for the Titans for a few years. He obviously was released by the practice squad recently by the Falcons. So he was arrested on Sunday morning, allegedly fighting with the police, resisting arrest following a traffic stop. He had got pulled over about 2 a.m. on Saturday. He was pulled over for speeding, and he wasn't able to maintain his lane on the interstate. When he got confronted by the police, he had an altercation. He ran back into his truck and then fled, crashed his truck, and then fled on foot. And the police found him hiding and arrested him.
What a lucky he didn't get killed.
I mean, hello, or killed somebody else.
That too. But look at the police didn't kill him. Like, you doing all that and you didn't get shot?
It's just too much.
And why do all that? Just face it and own it.
Too much. So we'll turn to some more happier news stories. I've already sent this to a few of my friends and encouraged them to try out. I'm just saying, the Las Vegas Aces High Rollers, which is of course our favorite thing in the Aces, or one of the favorite things we love about the Aces. They have an open call for tryouts on Saturday 21st and 22nd at 10 a.m. at the Raiderettes headquarters out in Henderson. You have to get on the list. So you've got to call to LasVegasAces.com/High Rollers to register to be part of it.
I posted a link in our story. So if you guys go on our story on Girl Chat Sports IG, the link is there for you to sign up. So you got some people?
I already got one person that's already confirmed. And I got one more that I'm trying to push to get there. I was like, come on.
I would love to do it.
Listen, if they're around still at 50, I am down.
If I can still move at 50.
So yeah, you have to be 50 and over. Yes. And here's the deal. They're not like, you don't have to be the most queen of dancing at your age. Right. You saw the women from God bless them all. Not all of them were superstars in their mode of dancing, but they did it, and they had, a presence. They were able to, engage with the audience. And I think that's the most important thing. Plus you had like cool gear to wear, and
and then you're on the court of the game in front of all these fans.
Hello.
And celebrities sitting in Gucci Row.
I told one of my girlfriends, I was like, listen, can you imagine if your grandkids came to the game and saw you performing at halftime or during a commercial break? Cool. Like, come on.
That would be so cool.
Very cool for the Aces.
Yes.
There was, I know that we had reported that the UNLV football, UNLV football had hired Bobby Petrino. And people were like, oh my God, what a great hire for UNLV. The new offensive coordinator. He's going to be great. Cut to 1 month later and the new year, and he's officially out, headed to Texas A&M under Jimbo Fisher.
I'm about to be an Aggie right now.
Peace. Like, gone.
Welcome to fabulous luck.
Like, Texas. Are we gonna find like his UNLV gear at the next Savers time I go thrifting at Savers? Are we? I mean, is he donating that stuff that he, all his gear that he got for the first month? I don't know.
I wonder how that works contractually. Like, how was he able to get out of that?
I mean, is it kind of like signing day for athletes, or maybe you could, say you're going somewhere, but then change and officially go somewhere else? I don't know.
But he's one of the best offensive minds out there,
and has a great resume for it.
He does have a great resume.
Sadly for UNLV football,
sadly it's
Listen, I don't know about you.
That's too bad, UNLV. God, like I said, we talked about this all the time. How do you keep the recruitment of the players? And now you're looking at how do you keep the recruitment of the staff?
Here's the thing is that you have to realize that these coaches are also turning away being able to play and coach at Allegiant Stadium.
Yeah. Come on.
And the facilities at the UNLV's new sports complex, as well as you're turning away like dynamic area. I don't know. Maybe I'm not a coach, so I wouldn't know.
What's the recruiting like, and what's the buy to come here? What's the buy for these players? This is a 21 and older town, and we talked about this. What are these players to do when they come here?
I don't know.
I mean, now you've got OCs leaving. Like, that's a money thing. I don't know. That's very strange.
Yeah.
And speaking of college too, you watched that TCU game, right?
Yes.
Okay. They got a game this Saturday. So
they have a game. Who?
Saturday?
No, Monday. The championship. So college football championship is on Monday. TCU versus Georgia. Listen, this was the highest scoring produced semifinal championships in all of college football history.
And it was
almost 180 points between the two games. You had a 42-41 Georgia winning over Ohio State because Ohio State's kicker missed a 50-yard field goal at the end, which was not even missed it, but like Really missed it. And then you got TCU beating Michigan in the upset 51-45 in the highest scoring Fiesta Bowl ever. And we had to, you did send me this, is that your guy from Texas already got his money on the game.
Oh yeah, Mattress Mac. He's an Astros winner, and now he's going to be a TCU winner possibly.
So he's put down $1.5 million. He would be winning he'd be netting $5.5 million if TCU wins. And shout out to our, your girl Tara as well. I know Tara was there at the game.
TCU.
But that was that
area. Yeah, she was there. It was in Arizona. So
well, we don't know too many TCU a lot. You don't.
She's the only one I know. And then shout out to my other family, Jason Abel and his stepdaughter. She's a TCU. She's a cheerleader for TCU. She actually live here in Vegas, so she goes to TCU. But still, and here's another thing about this game. SoFi has placed a rule that there is no tailgating in the parking lot of SoFi whatsoever.
Wow.
So you cannot tailgate
you can't tailgate?
You cannot tailgate in the parking lot whatsoever. They put that out on Fox LA News, but I follow Fox LA. So the tailgating will be in selected parking lots, kind of similar to Allegiant, where we do have some tailgating, but no, they're going to be off-site parking lots.
That's terrible.
Where people will be tailgating. They are not allowing any SoFi don't want no damage to their new facility. They don't want that college
damaged facilities. You'd be leaving a mess in the parking.
Maybe they don't have enough
staff
for cleanup crew after all of that. I don't know, but it is remote. It is not on SoFi's yard. You're not going to be able to tailgate in those parking lots. That is a huge story I wanted to break to you when we got.
What's up, A-Train? Thanks for joining. We appreciate you. Shout out to A-Train Show. Yes.
A-Train, I watched Black Adam today. I thought about XFL looking at The Rock.
Hey, listen, Josh Gordon got picked up by the Seattle Dragons, the Seattle Sea Dragons. So Josh Gordon is back in the mix. And I think he really does love Seattle. I think he's got something for that Seattle weather, because I don't know if he even left
you guys had Jonathan Abram on your team until I looked at his Instagram. I had no idea. I thought he was still in Green Bay. So Raiders, Green Bay, and Seattle. Wow.
Yeah. So, and also, speaking of Seattle, I don't know about you, Mo, but I'm thinking New Year's Eve in Seattle for 2024. If you didn't know already, the Golden Knights play Seattle at T-Mobile Park, the home of the Seattle Mariners, for the 2024 Winter Classic. This is the outdoors game that happens once every year for the NHL, and it's going to be at T-Mobile Park between the Golden Knights and the Kraken. This is the second game for the Golden Knights in a Winter Classic, and of course the first for the Kraken, but it does put the two newest kids on the block against each other for the Winter Classic. I don't know. I'm excited for this. I've never seen an outdoor soccer or outdoor hockey game.
Yeah, it is. But
it's in Seattle. And it's at T-Mobile Park.
For New Year's, for sure. It's a party.
Hello. Plus, you might still even have a football game at the, at Lumen as well.
Being in Seattle for New Year's Eve.
Come on.
The turn up is real over there, huh?
Have you seen the Space Needle go off?
I think we should
go.
Just saying.
The Space Needle's fireworks is, if you can watch it from like Gasworks Park, it beats watching Las Vegas's fireworks. Even though they got 5 of them and Seattle got 1, it's amazing.
I think it'd be a good look. I think it's something different. An outdoor hockey match.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, no, every year they have the Winter Classic, and it is outdoors. This year, I forgot what stadium it was. It was at one of the ballparks. I forgot which one. If anyone's watching or knows. If Weeks was here, if Weeks would finally be our guest one day, he would have all this information.
Because he goes to the Winter Classics.
Well, and he's an avid hockey fan. He's an avid hockey player. He used to play hockey. So, Weeks is Weeks. Shout out to Weeks because he also won one of his many leagues. Remember, beginning of the season, we were talking all that smack about him paying all this money for his money leagues. He actually won $3,000 in one of his money leagues. So,
that's good. That's really good.
I know.
That's really amazing.
Not to get off subject or anything, but yeah. So, shout out to the Golden Knights and the Seattle Kraken. That's going to be a great look. We'll touch on a few things in the NFL just real quick because we've got Week 18. This is the last week of the NFL.
It is. But real quick before we even get into our go ahead and get into it.
No, go ahead.
I'm just gonna shout out to anybody that's into the rally driving and the drifting. Rest in peace to Ken Block, who did his last rally drift run was in Vegas. That video I posted the link on, that was his last drift before he passed away.
Because he passed away on a snowmobile accident, right?
Yes. Isn't that crazy?
And then you got the other guy,
by Jeremy Renner.
Yes.
Jeremy Renner guy.
They said he was trying to help a bystander that was stuck before he got hit.
He got ran over by his snowplow. Ran over.
Oh my God.
It ran over his leg. So 2023, yeah, we wanted to start off with that. And I meant to mention Ken Block, but I had to think about it because that drifting, if you haven't seen the video, I'll try to post it on the page or post a story with the link where you can go on YouTube and see it. But he drifted starting at the tunnel under the convention center. Then he went out by Mandalay Bay. And I don't know what time of night this was, but everything was closed down. Too. And then he did Fremont and Circa. He went up to the Circuit parking garage and he did the rooftop where the guys were boxing. I mean, it's a credible video, but he's one of the monster rally drifters, and he changed the game in that rally driving type situation and drifting and spinning the whip where the smoke comes, all the exhaust comes up and all that. And a lot of celebrities were huge fans of his. T-Pain had an emotional tweet about it. He was one of his biggest fans,
really,
about the Ken Block. So, man, rest in peace to him and his family and that. But yeah, his last drift was in Vegas. So,
jeez.
God, I wonder if Formula One will do a tribute to him, even though it's kind of not the same, but.
I don't know.
That's
crazy. Yeah. Thank you.
Anyway,
I saw your story you posted on that. That was very. I didn't know that. So.
2023, man. The winter.
2023. So yeah, week 18 is coming up. It's official. These are your clinched playoff teams. There's a wild card spot for each, and
we know what you got to do.
Listen, for my Seahawks to get in that last NFC position, we need to beat the Rams and we need the Lions to beat the Packers. So I'm officially on board all weekend with the Detroit Lions on beating this Packers. Now, what they did do is they flexed the Lions-Packers game to be Sunday night, which makes it a little more interesting because Seattle will have to beat the Rams. Now, if the Lions want in, we got to lose to the Rams and they got to beat the Packers. If the Packers want in, the Packers, all they have to do is win because they own the tie between us since they beat us. So,
so even if you win and Green Bay wins, you're out.
Right. And then you've got the AFC picture. So you still got the the Patriots controlling the final wild card spot because they still got the Dolphins and the Steelers. The Steelers need the Bills to beat the Patriots and the Jets to beat Miami and a win versus the Broncos, Browns. Sorry. And then you got the Titans still. So there's still 6 teams vying for these last 2 playoff spots before that happens.
Wow. An AFC spot, no one's clinched. Man. I always said that conference.
And no one's clinched the first spot on either division.
No.
The number 1 spot is still up for grabs. Even though, there's some leaning on who it may go to, but it still all comes down to this weekend, which is crazy. I don't know. And I know that you guys are out of it, but you had the Battle of the Bay this weekend.
Man, what a game.
And it was a great game. Like, you guys really kept up and put it on these Niners.
We made them work for it.
Yeah, you did.
And I wasn't expecting that. I actually was expecting a blowout, even with Jarrett Stidham, who was undefeated in preseason, being our starting quarterback.
Stidham, let's go.
Stidham looked good. And honestly,
he had 3 touchdown passes.
Yeah, and the interceptions were not interceptions by him. They were actually pushed on interceptions by defense. Like, the defense hit him and he threw the ball and it intercepted, even in the last play in overtime. It wasn't a forced interception. I mean, shout out to him with the 45-yard pass to Devontae Adams. And the one-handed catch by Devontae Adams.
And his longest of the season, right?
Yes. And it was it put him in, it surpassed Tim Brown. Wow. Raiders legend. He broke a franchise record as well as a personal record within Tim Brown, beating him in his first season out with the most yards ran. So congratulations to him on that. Congratulations to Waller, opening drive touchdown. Didn't see that coming.
Hey, new QB, new rules, right?
Man, Jared said, I forgot Foster Moreau was a wide receiver on our team. I hadn't seen Foster Moreau to catch in I don't know how long.
I saw that catch and was like, who was that?
I knew who he was. And it was like, God, where's he been? Yeah. But this is the man that distributes the ball all out through his O-line. Not to mention Josh Jacobs had a great run. He sat out for a little bit. That got me worried. But he came back in. But I mean, man, did they work for it? And not for nothing.
Worked for it.
I gotta say, it was a 49ers home game. I mean, the Red Sea was
the Red Sea, it was red up in that stadium.
I can't even front.
It was so loud, even on TV, to listen to, like, when you guys are on offense and they're on defense, it was loud. And I'm like, no way.
It was so loud. It was so loud.
I know everybody that was there had a great experience. We didn't see any crazy Karens show up and have any videos of crazy fights.
Well, there were people that were fighting. And I have video of that. I've seen a couple people fight in club seats. Yeah, $1,000 seats in there, and they're fighting. I saw that.
Really?
So I knew there were some fights. It just didn't make the traction like the Karen video. But yeah, they were fighting. But it just wasn't as brutal as I expected it to be because you had a majority of 49ers fans. Raider fans did not show up. Where were you?
Yeah,
Raider
well,
fans?
you know.
Come on.
Yeah. And they're probably not able to, and you can't really talk shit until the game's over because it was so close. You couldn't really talk too much because it was back and forth.
Well, shout out to my brother. He was around 49er fans. He said all I could do was shake their hand and say good game because it was a good game.
It was a good game.
One of those games we made.
I mean, y'all played them better than we did, so congratulations.
Listen, I didn't expect any of that. I did not expect any of that. Now, is Stiddy the same quarterback because we play Kansas City on Saturday? Will we see the same performances
here in Vegas too? Right?
Yeah. It's a Vegas game. They moved it. They flexed it. It was supposed to be Sunday.
It'll be interesting.
Saturday.
It'll be interesting.
It will be. Mm-hmm.
And we will shout out to Natalie who did win the Women's Fantasy Football League. I hadn't noticed it, but she definitely brought it to our attention today. We will make sure
she did.
I wasn't.
And I gave her a cookie. I gave her a cookie emoji. What do you want?
And I will say this: I will personally give kudos to Tom Brady and Mike Evans. I had Tom Brady. He had 112 points for me in fantasy football. This man not only threw 3 touchdown passes, but then also rushed a touchdown pass and was feeding Mike Evans for like 50, 60. Mike Evans had over 200 yards. Like, they finally showed
I had Mike Evans on the wrong fantasy league. The fantasy league I'm done on, I have Mike Evans and Leonard Fournette, and that fantasy is
They
done.
said Brady, being the GOAT, decided to goat out on Jordan year. The first day of Jordan year.
Of course
he
goes
out.
He's going to continue to goat out. It's still Tom Brady, you guys.
Of course, I know.
And shout out to me winning my 5th place in the girls' fantasy league.
I came in hot for number 11.
I'll take the 5th place spot. I'll take the 5th place spot. That's a good one. I lost in my 3rd place spot so far because, like I said, we have a pending kind of thing, but I think it's over. Yahoo kind of sent out a message of how this is going to play out.
Yeah.
But sadly, I was in 3rd place ranked and lost in a 3rd place to a 7th place person. I can't believe it. I didn't put Deshaun Watson in.
And it
happens. He balled out. The one time I don't put Deshaun Watson in, he balls out. I used whole season.
We're gonna go quickly on some. Listen, the NBA. We're gonna definitely talk way more NBA once the NFL season, especially is on break. And your Lakers have been doing good. LeBron, of course, is getting closer to that scoring title.
Right.
The NBA has been like throwing down points left and right.
Spied a 71 on the Mount Rushmore.
And then immediately drug tested the next morning.
Yeah, and that's crazy. And that's insane.
I mean, that's unbelievable numbers. 71 points. Come on.
Did they do that to Kobe Bryant when he hit 81? I just want to know. No, they didn't. Rest in peace, Kobe.
You never know.
Devin Booker.
You also got Klay Thompson got 54 points. Giannis drops 55.
Yeah.
OKC scored 150 points last night over the Celtics.
This is why you can't bet overs or unders in NBA because the points are getting ridiculous. And
there's no way.
Change the game with all this 3-point shooting. This is where these points are getting drum up from. But did they test Devin Booker when he hit 70 that night?
Hey, Sportsnista. Yes, he did ball out.
He did.
Man. Defense ain't doing nothing.
No, there's no defense. It's offensive basketball. It's a shoot around. I went to that Rebel game. It was a shootout. There was no defense. It's a shootout. San Diego State beat UNLV. Shootout. That's all it is.
Zion's back out, injured for about 3 weeks with a hamstring injury. Gary Payton Jr. finally came back for the first time this season, so that's good to see. But we will definitely get more into the NBA side of things, but just there's so much to discuss today. And if you're just now catching the end of the show, make sure you go back and watch the replay. We definitely touch on Damar Hamlin as well as Dana White.
We have to.
If we don't get this picketing out,
we need Sportsnista's take on that. I mean, I talked to her a little bit about it, but I would love to just see her at the picket
lines. That could be a whole nother interview on this one. There needs to be something. I
want to see her in a red dress at the picket lines with us too.
Yes.
Solidarity, sister.
Out outside the apex. Let's go, girl.
Solidarity, sis. Solidarity. Pick a side.
I'm saying that, man. But before we get to the end of the show, because we're already over an hour, because we can talk our butts off. You know,
of course,
that's nothing new. That's nothing new. We do want to highlight our girl power moment. So, with all that's happened in regards to heart issues and what's been happening, we want to talk about Tina Charles because in 2000, of course, you should know Tina Charles is in the WNBA. She's a legend. She's played. She's most recently played for Seattle. I think she is a free agent this year.
She's free agent right now.
Excuse me. So in 2013, she started a foundation called Hopi's Heart. Hopi is named after her aunt who died of multiple organ failures. And so this organization provides AED, which is automated external defibrillator, AED donations, and CPR training to schools and community centers. I'm not sure if it's just in a certain state or if it's all over, but since I think they've donated, where did I put it down? 447 AEDs. They've donated that many.
That's great.
This is just some stats right here about cardiac arrest and heart failures and organ failures. So fewer than 40% of people who experience cardiac arrest are out of the hospital, receive CPR from someone nearby, and fewer than 12% have an AED applied before first responders arrive. When someone has a cardiac arrest in a public place, the chance of survival is 10%, but odds are better when CPR is performed and AED is used. 9 in 10 cardiac arrest victims who receive a shock from an AED in the first minute survive. That's astounding.
How many people have AEDs at their job or know that their job facility has AEDs? I know my job has
or
AEDs.
Trained with CPR.
And how many people are trained for CPR? I am.
Yeah.
Being when I was swimming, but I need to be abreast of it and keep it going.
Look at this answer that tonight they had to use an AED on a game spectator at the UNC Wake Forest game.
Oh my gosh. See?
No joke. And take care of your health and your heart health.
Take care of your heart health. Yeah, please do. Because there's a lot of daily stresses, and I think social media is a catalyst for some of that too. I think it pushes our minds into a lot of things. Check your blood pressure regularly, everyone. I have a blood pressure machine to check on my blood pressure if I feel like I'm getting too intense. Check all of that stuff. Just take care of yourself, okay?
Yes.
And no CPR, like you said. And I wonder how much it is just to have a portable AED for your own personal household. You should have one.
I don't even know. That's a good point.
I'm curious.
Look it up and get back to us.
I will.
But shout out to Tina Charles, a big major power. And
that
447. I don't even know how much they cost in general to have a unit period, but that's good stuff right there.
That is good.
That is good. Quickly on, there's not a ton. So here's the deal. This is just a look at of the 2023 Jordan sneaker release calendar and what's coming up in the year. Now I see that there's a couples doubled on here, but there are some coming out. This is the 2023 Jordan releases for 2023. Not a whole lot happening right now.
And that's the anniversary of the 3.
Well, yeah. So I thought these were the Legos before, but I guess the grade school, they're coming out as the title is Messy Room. These will be out on the 7th. You've got Jordan 7s, Olives. They'll be out on the 7th. You've also got LeBron's Florida A&M shoes that'll be out on the 7th. New Balance has these.
I like those.
Yeah, those are some of my favorite colors when I was a kid.
Yeah.
Magenta, purple. This is also a collaboration with Teddy Santis.
I like those.
And this will be out on January 12th. This is the New Balance 990 V2. You've also got LeBron has the LeBron 20 olive suede. And
swoosh looks like it extends out.
I think it does. It does. Similar to those blazers maybe or something.
That's not cute though.
Yeah.
In that colorway. But it is the anniversary of the 3. So I know they are recreating the cement 3s. I have a pair of those. The infrared.
Same. Yeah.
3s are coming back. Yeah.
Cassandra said that home AEDs run between $1,200 and $2,000.
Well, I think it's worth the investment, people. I think it's worth the investment.
Let's just say $1,200 and you did 447. That's $500,000 Tina Charles was given.
Wow.
$500,000.
I think it's worth the investment. If she gave up her whole salary to donate to that, then that's where we're at. Wow.
All right. So last week, listen, I still got a chance to pull back in this one, Mel. I did win last week 4-3. So I am down 5-6 to 2. We are tied, I'm down. So you got 6 wins, I got 5, and then we're tied 2. We could tie it all up if I win this weekend, but if not, you will be the winner of Girl Chat Sports Pick'ems.
The second time in a row. Mel, get on it.
Well, because I think my heart leads too much in a lot of these.
Yes.
I'm going to have to change that. I got to change it for next season. I got to change it.
You got to bet business.
I know. We'll work on that. All right. So you got obviously your Chiefs and the Raiders happening this weekend.
I'm going to go with my Raiders.
I love your team, but
I know Chiefs are real, but I don't know if the starters are going to play on the Chiefs, and that's why the only reason I'm drifting towards the Raiders. I don't know if we're going to have a Pat Mahomes.
Well, there's still no number one seed yet, so it depends on how hard they want to work towards getting that one seed.
Then they got to win. Raiders can crush them though. Devontae Adams announced he's not going nowhere. So, yeah. I'm still gonna
because if the Chiefs win, they get the number one seed.
And they possibly will, but I'm gonna just pick my Raiders. Go ahead and go with the Chiefs.
We got Tennessee at Jacksonville. Both, I believe. No, Tennessee's still vying for a spot, but I don't know if Jacksonville's going to be that spoiler.
I picked Jacksonville last week. I'm going to roll with Trevor Lawrence.
I hear you. Tampa Bay at Atlanta. Atlanta is actually favored in this game. I'm not sure if that means that Tom and the gang ain't playing. I mean, they've already clinched it. They've already clinched a spot. They're not vying for a first place, for number one. So
they may not play.
True. I don't even know who the backup is for the Bucks.
Well, who's starting for Atlanta again? Because Mariota's out.
No, it's been what's his name? Why am I thinking of it? Either which way.
I don't know. I'm gonna roll. God, why is the sportsbook saying that? I'll pick Atlanta. Whatever. I'll go with it. Whatever.
Now I gotta look it up just to see, because I'm just. No, they still have Marriott on it. I don't know. Tampa Bay.
Gameplay will stop for about 10 minutes. My goodness. That's a minute longer than the other one.
You said I'm gonna go with
I'm going with Atlanta. If that's what you're saying, they're favored. I just don't think they play. I don't think they're gonna play. I think it's gonna be a gimme game for me. I mean,
but
you gotta
go. Is Atlanta even that great to play a gimme game? Even I don't know.
If you're taking out all your starters.
But are they taking out all the starters? Or maybe they are.
I mean,
half of them are already injured, so
they've got to know something. Sportsbook's just been altering. They got to know something.
I'm going to go with you on the Falcons. All right, so we got the Patriots at the Bills. Of course, we just heard, we know the incident happened. We've got the Bills are coming back into a game. The Patriots need to win this game to remain in contention for a playoff spot.
I don't think they'll win. So I'm going to go with the Bills.
Well, I don't think the Bills would lose. I mean, this is like we got your back. We're going to do this for you type of game.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The Vikings at the Bears. The Vikings coughed up a big one last week. They sure
did. I picked the Vikings, last week. And
you did.
That's on my face. And I think that's what cost me. And Seattle game cost me. I knew Seattle was going to beat the Jets, but I just was going for you. Okay. So
you're hating after my sly remarks.
Yeah. I've just said about my and you see how they did against the number one defense. You don't be questioning my Raiders no more.
I get it.
Even though we lost.
So I'm going to go back with the Vikings. I don't think, Chicago doesn't have a cookie here at all.
No, I'm going to go with Vikings too.
Now, will they cover 7.5?
That is debatable, but they probably will. Probably will. It's the Bears. They probably will.
You've got the Ravens at the Bengals. And just remember those first two games. So the Raiders, Kansas City, and the Titans, Jaguars, those are both on Saturday at 1:30 and 5:15 Pacific time. Ravens at the Bengals.
I'm going with the Bengals. Yeah, I just have to root for them.
I went with those Ravens last time, and the Steelers kicked them.
Yeah.
Texans and the Colts.
Oh, this is an ugly game.
Ugly game, and I almost feel
a tie. How about that?
Ooh.
It's 3-3 final score. Tie. I don't know.
I'm gonna jot that one down just in case. I'm gonna go with the Texans just because at this point I don't think they don't have anything to lose. To win a game.
I'll go with you on that one because I just don't see the Colts pulling through on this.
We got the Jets at the Dolphins. There's no Tua. He'll be out.
I still have the Dolphins though because the Cheetah.
The Jets are favored by 1.
That doesn't give me any.
Nothing. Gives you nothing.
Doesn't give me nothing.
And the Dolphins still have a chance. The Jets are out. The Dolphins can still get in the playoffs.
Well, the Dolphins are going to fight for no winner, so I'll just go with the Dolphins.
Okay, I'm with
Mike
that.
Dixon, putting it on your guys. See what happens.
Mike Dixon's turned into a Seahawks fan as much time as he's been spending in Seattle.
Yeah, right.
Got the Panthers at the Saints. Your Saints won for you last week.
They sure did.
I kind of feel like that's.
I think they're going to do it again. Mm-hmm. Let's go.
And then we got the Browns at the Steelers. Listen, the Steelers still have a shot to get in the playoffs.
But I think the
Browns want nothing more than to spoil that.
Yeah.
This is a rivalry like nobody, like no other.
With the Browns. Deshaun Watson got 50 points last week on fantasy, and I did not start him, and I don't know why. And I didn't see that game. So I'm thinking he's building his momentum up, and I just think this will be the one he runs with too.
Yeah. So all right, we got the Giants at the Eagles. Eagles are still trying to get the number 1 spot. Giants did clinch. I feel like the Eagles are just going to take this one over because they need the win.
No Jalen still, right?
No Jalen still that I know of.
Yeah, so let's see what the Eagles do. They collapsed last week, so I don't know. Eagles, I'm going to pick them, but
I mean, you can pick who you want, you know, yeah.
The Cowboys owned them, and I didn't want that to happen. I really didn't want that.
Yeah, that was sad. So we got the Cowboys at the Commanders.
Oh, God.
Well, here's the funny story. So the Commanders decided to go away from Heineke. I like to call him Heineke, but Heineke last week and took over for Wentz. Wentz went in there, got booed by the Commanders fans, and now is getting benched again for Heineke in week 18.
Boy, they just can't catch a break.
And it's not like you're trying to get a playoff spot. The Commanders are out, but you want to still switch your quarterback.
But I don't want the Cowboys to win either. But they can't do the job, so I'm gonna have to go with the Cowboys. Sadly, reluctantly, I don't want to choose them, but it just makes sense.
I think it does make sense, but you know what? My year so far in this game is making no sense, so I'm gonna go with the Commanders just because.
Shut them down.
Shut them down. And you know, because a lot of people need the Cowboys to win over the Commanders to get a better spot in the NFC. And so I'm just like, meh, forget it. Forget about it.
Shut it down.
All right, Chargers at Denver. Did you see Russell crying on the podium?
I missed that, but I heard. I had a meme I was going to send you when Nathaniel Hackett got cut. And I meant to do it, and I forgot, but I'll send it to you tonight.
Okay. It was. Oh yeah, he finally got touchdowns to tie his bathrooms in his house. Yeah. Well, he had an emotional speech about like Jerry Jeudy and other players that were coming to his defense, and he was very, emotional about that.
I will take that cry over Derek Carr's cry any day.
Ooh,
I will.
Yeah,
because Derek Carr cried for what? You didn't cry the season before when we was going through stuff. Russell has been going through it. So I understand his cry.
Denver's out.
All, but I'll take
Denver's out of it. The Chargers are in it.
But the Chargers have already clinched the playoffs, so they may not play their starters. It could be a turnaround game for Denver to actually have a win at the end, especially with him crying. So I'll just say Denver.
All right. And then we got the Rams at the Seahawks. Now, listen, I'm not saying it's an easy win because the one thing that can be spoiled is the Rams and Cardinals always screwing us over in the end of the season because they always play one of them at the end of the season, and one of them can always have the chance to do it. And it's happened before. But if we don't win this game, we definitely don't have a shot. So we've got to win. And of course, I'm going with my team. I believe we can do it. But listen, Tyler Lockett got injured again after last Sunday's game. I believe one of our defensive tackles is out for the rest of the season. He got injured. So we're missing some pieces. But listen, Kenneth Walker Jr., Kenneth Walker III, our running back, another over 100-yard game on Sunday last weekend against the Jets. And so we're hoping and praying that he could have another good one too. Cardinals at the Niners. The Cardinals. Poor team.
Well, Niners are probably not going to play their people, but even if they don't play their people, they still have a better chance of beating these Cardinals.
Oh, for sure.
And it's so sad. And that's why
it's sad. It's for JJ Watt too. And that's
what's going to happen with their coach? What's going to happen with Cutie in Arizona? You know, is that the end for him?
Cliff got the voice of the gods.
Cliff Kingsbury, are you going to still have a job? That's what I want to know.
Can I move into the house, Cliff?
Something, because I just don't think you're going to be there. You might well Airbnb it.
I mean, here's the deal. It's not really all his fault. He's had every injury known to man on that team.
It's never sometimes the coach's fault, but they still let him go. So I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I hope they don't, but it's just a sad,
all right,
sad
big
thing.
game for Sunday Night Football. There is no Monday Night Football next week because, of course, the college football championship is on. But the Lions at the Packers, I need the Lions to win. Come on, Dan. Let's go,
if you really
Dan.
think that they're gonna win, you are sadly mistaken.
Hey,
I know, but you gotta hope for it.
Weight.
You have to hope for it.
All my weight with Dan.
And I hate to be this person, but I gotta pick Green Bay because it just makes sense. I'm sorry.
But guess what? If Green Bay doesn't make it, makes Aaron Rodgers' chance of coming to the Raiders even better.
He's not coming. I'm telling you, they're gonna go after Brady. That's what we want. We just want somebody to coach Spitty. To bring him up to be a Brady-like. I would rather Brady-like essence than an Aaron Rodgers essence. But you know what they said too is Devontae Adams does have a say-so on which quarterback comes, or he is getting to have a voice at the table.
So he's the guy that gets to talk about it, huh?
Yeah, I guess he gets the voice at the table of what he approves or disapproves. So we will see. Okay. He may not want another Aaron year. And why would Aaron come when you have to face Mahomes and Justin Herbert in that division? Forget Russell Wilson. That's kind of
why would Tom want to come and have to face them too? It's the end of his years. He wants an easy streak. He wants to stay in the NFC South and play the teams that he's already playing, where he can be in a playoff contender at 7-8.
But this would be the true testimony of his goatness if he were to come.
He's already proved goatness. He's got like 6 rings. Like he ain't worried about that.
It because he's still playing. Clearly, he hasn't proven it to himself.
I don't think he want to be in the AFC West. I mean,
that's the Patriot way. We got a Patriot system. I think that would probably draw him over here. Jeez. And he likes this guy. He likes this coach.
Okay.
He likes Daniels.
Hey guys, we've well extended our hour, but we thank you for tuning in. If you're just catching the end, catch the replay, go to our YouTube, subscribe to Girl Chat Sports on all social media at Girl Chat Sports. Happy Jordan year from Mo and I to all of you, and we will catch you all next week.
Yep. Go Lakers.